Some of the future plot settings in Doraemon are similar to the Pokédex entries that 10-year-old kids make, full of imaginative exaggerations, so that those kids who'd read the manga would have more positive thoughts on their future. Most of these plot settings have been abandoned, however, some of which make up the remaining minor settings in the Doraemon some of us are familiar with now. One of these settings is the physical strength aspect of the protagonist's 5-member group. In this ranking, I'd first have to exclude Doraemon. Although he's always bullied by Gian and feels like the robot version of Nobita, his real combat power is completely broken. An immensely hard body, invincible gadgets, and a strength of 129.3 horsepower. On a side note, the average strength of an adult male is about 0.5 horsepower. If it weren't for Doraemon being a babysitter robot, as well as not using force on children, Gora Takashi would have had to move to the hospital. Doraemon's little sister Dorami is even more exaggerated, with 10,000 horsepower. Even a random robot they pull out of their pockets has 1,000,000 horsepower, about 10 times more than Astro Boy. In a different timeline, they may have well come as Terminators. Coming to the other 4, the strongest among them is rightfully Gora Takashi. He likes to sing, cook terrible dishes, bully other children, as well as forcefully borrow manga and games from them. In the early parts of the manga, titled White Toothbrush, he even bullied Shizuka. All in all, he's an antagonist in the anime. In the movies, however, his bravery as well as sense of justice will be highlighted, and the advantages that occasionally appear within the anime are magnified without limit. A good person will be criticized after doing one bad thing, even after doing countless good things, and a bad person will be praised after doing one good thing, no matter how much he bullied others. This is the effect of movie version Gian. But he is not without merit in the anime. He admires manly behavior, and would have been happy if Nobita were to muster up the courage to scold him. At the same time, among all the protagonists, he is the most dutiful to his mother, often helping the family and raising his little sister as she grows up. I reckon that only Doraemon can compare with him in the degree of loving their sisters respectively. In the Mizuta edition, there is an original plot that I particularly like. The content of the manga in that episode is that Shizuka, Suneo, and Nobita quarreled with their parents, exchanged experiences through a gadget, then finally understood through mutual communication that their parents were also people, they would make the same mistakes as them, and would be good to their children. At the end of the Mizuta edition, the scene of Takashi and his mother coming home was added. The joy of hearing that his mother was cooking his favorite dish tonight after a hard day's work reinforced Takashi's distinctive feature from the other 3. The second best in physical strength is Minamoto Shizuka, referring to Parko. In Fujiko Fujio's works, it is normal for the female characters to be stronger than the male characters. From many details, it can be seen that Shizuka's physical strength is far superior to the other 2, second only to Gian. Lively and active, she's a very tomboyish girl. Nobita's son has a stronger body than Gian at the same age, and this quality was inherited from her. However, the ladylike education she received from a young age prevented her originally strong talent from being able to be exerted. Her learning ability is the best among the protagonist group, and she is one of the few who is second only to Dekusugi in class. Talent and interest can't be both attained, as Shizuka doesn't like to play the piano even though she has a talent for playing it. She does like to play the violin, but her violin skills, along with Gian and Doraemon singing, are the top 3 most destructive weapons in this anime. In addition, I don't know if you realized that Shizuka's surname Minamoto is a very rare surname. In ancient Japan, the surname Minamoto was given to the nobles, and it was also from a branch of the royal family. Whenever a child of the royal family was reduced to being the highest noble, the emperor gave them the surname Minamoto. For example, the famous Japanese military commander, Minamoto no Yoshitsune, is one of the famous representatives of this surname. Combined with the education Shizuka received, it's possible that her ancestors were nobles. If we assume this is true, then Shizuka is much higher in status than the rich second-generation Suneo in terms of family background. But this is most likely impossible. After all, when Minamoto no Yoshitsune was killed by his younger brother, Minamoto no Yoritomo, Yoritomo ordered the surnames from the family's branches, except the main family, to be stripped away. Following that, the bloodline of their family was ended by the Hojo clan. So, the Minamoto surnames in modern society all began to appear during the Meiji Restoration, while the surnames of those who really inherited the Minamoto bloodline changed. The name Minamoto Shizuka is more similar to combining the tragic characters of Minamoto no Yoshitsune and his mistress Shizuka Gozen, one being among the most famous heroes in Japanese history, while the other having the nickname as Japan's first woman to be known as Yamato Nadeshiko, the representative of the ideal woman or the quintessential figure of pure female beauty. One gave her that super masculine physical strength, and the other gave her that ultimate femininity, which is why Minamoto Shizuka has such a perfect premise, as well as conflicting personalities. Ranked 3rd, Honekawa Suneo also has a very rare surname, given that Suneo often brags about how amazing his ancestors are, plus their family coming into new money, with villas all over the country. Their desserts consist of watermelon, cantaloupe, and other fruits that are very expensive in Japan. Suneo's father is the boss of a company and gives him 100,000 yen in allowance every month. They have a very luxurious house in Nerima City, Tokyo. There are Porsches, all kinds of famous brands, and antiques in the house. The yard of that house is even big enough to put the houses of the 3 other families in. From this point of view, it seems that he's the one with the richest family background in the protagonist group. Their assets are estimated to be at least 1 billion yen, converting into about $7 million US. Don't look at it through today's exchange rates though. The manga was set 50 years ago. Although he is indeed rich, he has a stingy personality and loves maintaining face. His families will rent the cheapest villas when traveling together, and provide the best service when going out with his friends. These characteristics have not changed much in the movies. Generally speaking, the personalities of the protagonists in the movies and anime will be different to set off their respective atmospheres. No matter how timid or rude they may be, they'll become heroes who'd protect the earth within the movies. However, only Suneo gets scared and would cry out for his mother during fights. His knowledge of machines is his strongest weapon. Although his ability to fight up front is not good, he's very good at assisting and has turned defeats into victory several times in dangerous situations. He's ranked 2nd among the 4 in terms of academic performance. Probably because of his high self-esteem, he always studies hard before exams to show off to both Gian and Nobita. Therefore, most of the time, his test scores are above average. Though occasionally, he's too arrogant or relies on future gadgets, causing his score to drop to the same level as Gian, and gets criticized by his teacher, giving the viewers a sense that the 2 of them are about the same. If you seriously think about it, how could the protagonist group's brain, an elementary school student who knows how to make robots, get poor grades? Hobbies: bullying Nobita, flattering Gian. His body is too small, and he has no strength. So every time he bullies Nobita, he has to be with Gian. Otherwise, if Nobita were to ever get angry, he may not be able to beat him. And last but not least, we have Nobita, the protagonist group's weakest member, who is often bullied by other people, and even by animals. Having bad luck, this guy seems to be cursed. Getting jealous and angry when he sees Shizuka with other guys. Lazy, often forgetting to do homework or being late. Relying on Doraemon and his future gadgets in such cases. Arrogant, greedy, and often getting carried away with a bit of benefits from those gadgets. Lust. Having seen Shizuka take a bath 627 times in the manga, I've never seen a character portray the 7 deadly sins so well. Many people think that Nobita is very stupid. Other than getting 100 points on that one test, the others were all 0 points. In fact, there is a misunderstanding here. Nobita actually had full marks 3 times on arithmetic tests. On average, only once every 5 exams will be a 0, and scores above double digits are the range he considers passing. If you take a deeper look, you'd find that Nobita is just lazy and unwilling to learn, while his classmates are just too good. Sometimes his teacher would mark an answer wrong when it is clearly right. The exam questions are simple one-time equations and graph operations. The slightly more difficult ones are trigonometric functions, identifying the gender of a fish through pictures, and that question of 10 meters minus 500 tons. I still don't know how these 2 units can be subtracted. Regardless, Shizuka and the others got 85 points on this kind of test, with them still being scolded by their mothers. Are Japanese elementary school students this impressive? It looks like we need a new critique of Nobita, known as the weakest protagonist. As a genius in making string figures, he must have excellent spatial imagination ability. Although it's rarely shown, Nobita's chess skills are also very good. When playing shogi, Gian couldn't beat him even when Nobita went easy on him, and when playing Go with Suneo, he won 10 consecutive games. As long as those board games are based on strategy, not luck, they're in Nobita's home field. It further proves that Nobita is just lazy and has bad luck, but not a bad brain. Another special ability of his is his ability to appreciate manga. After years of reading manga, he can know whether a work will become famous at a glance, just like an expert. Sleeping champion, being able to fall asleep in 0.93 seconds. The fastest record is 0.3 seconds, a capability that many adults living under high stress can only dream of. The most powerful skill is his marksmanship. Question: what kind of teammates would you meet that would make you simply surrender before doing something? The answer: Nobita. Alright, what is the situation where you look at your teammates and think this situation is stable? The answer: Nobita with a pistol. Only Dora the Kid could compete with Nobita in the Oyama edition, but lost because of his fear of heights. With the removal of these Dojin original characters in the Mizuta edition, Nobita's marksmanship had undoubtedly peaked. From the episode where Nobita and Shizuka exchanged bodies, it seems that Nobita's physical ability is not weak. In an emergency, he can even lift a 129.3kg Doraemon and throw him. There are even times when both Gian and Suneo can't catch Nobita while he runs away. Nobita's upbringing was to be a gentle and friendly child, which led to Nobita's way too cowardly personality. But this kind of personality also makes him have an intimacy with many creatures, except mad dogs, having a strong awareness of environmental protection for items other than food, and loving nature. These personality traits also lay the groundwork for Nobita's brave, popular character in the movies. On a side note, most of the situations where he saw Shizuka taking a bath were accidents caused by gadgets. But for a person who is a clean freak that bathes 3 times a day, Nobita often uses the anywhere door to find her. This behavior can be said to be premeditated.
本当にもう君には呆れた。どうしてそういつもお風呂にばっかり入ってるの。人の都合も考えてよ。上がるまで待ってるから急いでね。
Fujiko Fujio arguably mixed the worst and the best ingredients for an elementary school kid when he created the character Nobita. He once said that Nobita's biggest personality charm is that he knows how to self-reflect after doing something wrong. Since Doraemon is mainly a drama manga series for elementary school students, most of the time, Nobita will be used as a negative character to teach them what they shouldn't do. However, the Nobita in the main chapters is the young man who had learned the lessons of the past and grown up.
そうだジャイアン、今日はありがとう。
礼を言いたいのは俺の方だぜ。
え？どうして？
ガキの頃みたいでさ、楽しかったぜ。のび太のおかげよ。
のび太くんを選んだ。君の判断は正しかったと思うよ。
のび。
先生、明日はよろしくお願いします。じゃあ、おやすみなさい。
のび。
はい。
明日は遅刻するんじゃないぞ。
はい。
ありがとう。あの青年は人の幸せを願い、人の不幸を悲しむことのできる人だ。それが一番人間にとって大事なことだからね。彼なら間違いなく君を幸せにしてくれると信じているよ。
昔から静香ちゃんのことでのびくんに勝てる人はいないよ。